Hi everyone. Excuse me. I've just I've just had my dinner. So excuse me. It's 10 to 7 here in the UK. 10 to 1900 hours. So 10 minutes to the Fed. We not great expectations from this meeting. I think most people are perhaps more interested in the questions afterwards. If he gets or the inevitable questions about his future, whether he's going to stay on at the Fed as a governor because he's allowed to do that once his chairmanship is up, and obviously the political shenanigans around the Department of Justice uh, subpoena, they not subpoena indictment they've tried to put together, and obviously Lisa Cook. He's a very intelligent, switched on, cool guy. I don't think he'll get pulled into the political shenanigans that's going around the Fed at the moment, but it's inevitable that questions will come. Likely that the statement will remain very much similar, like we saw earlier this afternoon with the Bank of Canada. No particular noises there. Let me just put up the dollar CAD because the I missed the chair's press conference late. I had to go out, but I understand he was talking about it's a bit of a balancing act about where they go next. The Bank of Canada, whether they do actually raise rates or they leave them as they are. Cutting further is probably a step too far for Canada. They're at 225 at the moment. So dollar recovered here against the. If you're with us live when we were trading, we caught the on the 5 minute chart. We caught that. We talked about that bottom at 135.35, which took us all the way back when we zoomed in on the daily charts, all the way back, way back here. There's at 135.50. Took us all the way back to this low we'd seen June last year, June 25, and we went right into that intraday low, and that's where we were short on our 5 minutes. Since then, this is the daily time. Since then, the dollar's recovered on comments after the Bank of Canada. Here, this is this number here, 3 o'clock. That from Pheasant, the Treasury Secretary, that he didn't see a weak dollar as being sort of beneficial. He's looking for a stronger dollar. Remember Besant when he came in, he was seen as the grown up in the room around some of Trump's appointees, and he was his mantra was all about the 10-year yield being under that pivotal 4% area. We're at 425 on the 10-year yield this morning, 424 yesterday, 425, 450. I don't know where we are exactly as we speak. I haven't actually got a feed with that on at the moment, but I can see the 30-year here is 487.14, and that's up on the day. And I'm guessing the key to, obviously the further, that's the long end of the yield, the 30-year. The 2 year is more susceptible to these short-term hikes, and the 10-year is the benchmark. And I say that was at 424.50 earlier today, and so I would guess that might have ticked up a bit for 24.55 or 60 potential. I'll see if that comes through. Anyway, I saw the dollar sort of ticked up, but the higher time frame remains very vulnerable dollar since we've turned around that 3 week rally we saw in the dollar. So whatever you're trading, guys, let me know if you're trading across this key event. Much more of an event, I think, as far as the market is concerned, are the tech companies starting to report this week, and we got four of the biggies coming out today after market closes. We got Microsoft, Meta, Tesla, all reporting in within 5 minutes of the market closing at 2100 hours our time. So watch that for messing around at the end of the day, and any when futures kicks off later on in the night, see how that looks on the stock market. So we have a quick rally run round. We've still got 5 minutes before the announcement comes. I say CAD was originally lifted on the, let's take it on 50-minute chart, originally lifted here on the immediate response to their announcement, and then the dollar came in as Besant's comments filtered through, and we're back to 136 at the month for dollar CAD. Following the no change from the Bank of Canada this afternoon. Euro also has come off its highs. We were over 120 yesterday, 120 to the dollar. We're at 119.20 now, so 80 pips down from that overnight high. In fact, we went to 120, as I said earlier, 120.80, so quite a spike yesterday evening. So since then we've been triggering lower all day, and we've been in the under half of the Bollinger Band all of Wednesday's session ahead of the Fed. And there's Bessant's comments this afternoon. Took us to 119.25, and then we've stepped lower now. We're at 119.25. So there may be some buyers down here at 119, quite possibly. But again, if you look at the higher time frame, it's still very much a big, significant move against the dollar. Big shakeout, profit taken at 120 today. It was sort of inevitable, somewhat. Bit of an engulfing candle, though. Clearly, even if we move in low today, and it's unlikely that the Fed's going to surprise. But the gap from Friday to Monday still needs to be filled up from a body of a candle. So at some point during February, I expect that gap to be filled if it doesn't get done Thursday and Friday to close out January, which we'll see what happens later on. I doubt it. Sorry, my head's still massive. Guys, as ever, if you want to look at a different asset, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to run through the majors. It's the majors that most of you are trading. Gold and silver today went to all-time highs. If you weren't with me earlier, 5,280. We're back to the top of the range for the day. 580. 5312 is where we got to. I'm bringing the hourly chart. So we dipped a bit in the early European trades at around lunchtime. We then spiked on that pickup in the dollar, but we then back up again now. We're at 5280. So, all-time highs again. We spiked higher in this last hour than we had done this morning. So we move up again here. So 325 by the looks of things there. All about the ratcheting up of rhetoric against Iran. Also, Iran this afternoon have said, or the mullahs have said, the regime there have said, our response will be significant and prolonged. So what they've got to hit back with, apart from guerrilla warfare, but it can be very, these regimes they generate very strong allegiances and belief patterns and alliances. So it could be very, very messy, but depends what Trump's policy is with regard to the economic squeeze on Iran, or will he just hit them like he hit Venezuela? Different setup, much further away. It's not in his own backyard. Pivotal country as far as the Middle East situation is concerned, and the wider Middle East. Sorry, the Middle East and the wider region. But anyway, it's 7:00. Let's go across to the news channels and see what's breaking. As expected, the Fed leaves rates unchanged. I say as expected. Stocks are still holding up. They're sort of down a tad. Nasdaq 100 up 90 points today. S&P's down 5 or 6 points. But let's have a look at the. Not imagining much. This is all very much transmuted. It'd be interesting to see what the polling is like. Some talk here about Michelle Bowman. More or less flat the S&P. So gold has ticked up. So dollar it's probably taken a bit of a hit on that on the Fed. And what's being said. So look at the euro. We're on the euro. Came out a bit for some reason. Euro 19, 20. So inevitably we've sort of tested into the 19 area, and the trend just continues to move low. So the dollar's ticking up here. Fed says Governors Waller, Mirren dissented in favour of 25 basis points. So Waller, who's also in the frame for a bit of a surprise that Waller's joined him this time. Steve Mirren, not a surprise. Looking for a cut. Remember, he wanted 50 basis points last time. Economic activity has been expanding at a solid pace. Let me just check their website and get the statement. And try to run through some of the highlights for you here. Moderate pace, we said last time. Somewhat 3 cents mark to Mirren wanted 50 basis points. We know all that. This time, this meeting sees a change in voting ranks with Goolsbee, Collins, Schmidt, and Muslim out and replaced by Logan, Kashgari, Hammock, and Paulson. Logan is seen as the most likely to make a hawkish dissent. PC 2.8%. See, that's still sticky, as we said last time. It's still holding up. So this idea that there's obviously going to be there's no rate cut today. That's from Thursdays. Yeah. So that's from not Thursday. That's from Fridays. Right. Okay. 10-2. So it was only Waller and Mirren, Steve Mirren, and looking to change. That's December comments. This is all about December meeting actually at the moment. No, I can't see the actual statements. Not there for me, but it looks like dollar sort of continue to hold its gains here against the euro. If we look at the other dollar crosses, remember we had these massive moves for the Swissy and the Aussie. Aussie 69.85. Interesting how that's moved. So that's moving down today as well. So we earlier today the Aussie dollar spiked to over the key 70. I was trying to put that in. Oh, it was on a different chart, wasn't it? 70 handle. Really, here on the hourly chart, you see they're not a big move here for against the Australian dollar or for the US dollar against the Aussie. We're still holding, not all time highs, but very, very, very high levels not seen since 2021. I think here for the Aussie at over 70. Sterling cable 137.66, so that's moved down a bit more than the stronger Aussie. You can see the strength of the Aussie there. So moved down 137.65. We're right in the bottom of the hourly Bollinger Band low. Again, looks like that doesn't want to go any lower. However, see what is said at the press conference. We may tick lower and back into this congestion zone down here at 136.85. A key resistance area on the way up, 136.75, 80 zone. See that on the hourly chart. But again, let's use sterling as an example. Dollar, weakened quite significantly over the last few days. That's what the Trump said yesterday, didn't he? He wasn't worried about a weak dollar. We've turned around a bit today with Bessent saying, it isn't policy to have a weak dollar, but that's what markets are anticipating on that move through 2026. So pressure from the administration for bigger, faster rate cuts. We only got these two dissenters, Mirren, but Waller was obviously in the frame for the chair's role. That's disappeared somewhat. Interestingly, the guy from BlackRock, Rick Reeder, got a lot of time for Rick Reeder. His name keeps popping up and getting kicked around. Very calm, very balanced character. Head of rates, fixed rates credit for BlackRock. So quite a coup for him if he takes the job. But see how it all pans out and see if the machinations that are going to fall out of tonight and how the press conference is going to go. It might just be a complete flat squib, which is probably what Powell would want, depending if the president's tweeting at the time or social media, social tweeting. What's it called? Truth Social, as he calls his own platform. We shall see. So 10-2 is the vote. The benchmark remains 3.5 to 3.75. Basis points. So perhaps we are now moving into who's going to be candidate, the situation around Lisa Cook and the Supreme Court and Powell himself. So dollar a bit better today on political intervention, and that's what's sort of been moving things recently, but the higher time frame trend remains very against the dollar. Swissy 77.25 from a low under 76 yesterday's close, so it's picked up today, but Swiss franc very much in demand given the ratcheting up of the global um, um, sort of rhetoric that's been flying around between Iran and the US in particular. I mean, privately they are they're looking to try and obviously come out of this speaking, try and disarm nuclear. And that's what Trump sent in this Truth Social, this great big capital letters of no nuclear for Iran. He's then moved away from that, and he's then sent that again today. So we'll see. Is obviously communication channels are at least open, which is why the markets haven't really been spooked. This is due the move down in the dollars. The fundamentals of the policies of Trump. And remember, at the end, as we get into February, the great big beautiful bill or whatever he's called it, that creates a more stimulus in the economy. So this idea of inflation perhaps still we haven't seen the spike in inflation many were expecting, but inflation remains really sticky, and that's going to add to the stickiness of it. Those with jobs, earnings are holding up. Those getting bonuses are doing quite well. It's those that haven't got a job or trying to get a job is where the issue seems to be. But the economy certainly the US economy is certainly still ticking along. So as he said himself earlier this week, and again in Davos, the US sneezes, everyone catches the cold, but the US booms, everyone else booms, was obviously Trump's phrase. So yeah, I've just seen there's a 10-year here just popped up. So we're back up. We are back to 426. So we've gone up again today, quite strong. We've gone from 422 overnight. So we actually dipped down to 424, and we're 426 now. So yields continue to move up, and Treasury's cool a bit. So let's have a look if I still find a statement from the Fed again, with regard to some comments about inflation and anything else. So full text, so the 2.8% has been mentioned. Right, so economic has been expanding at a solid pace. So it's a phrase they used in December, the solid pace. Job gains have remained low. Unemployment rate has shown some signs of stabilization. Inflation remains somewhat elevated. Again, exact phrase from December. Achieve maximum employment inflation at 2% over the long term. Sounds like what we said from the Bank of Canada, isn't it? Also the same thing. In sport, with goals continue to remain the fund rate and constant extent time additional adjustments. The committee, not the company, will carefully assess incoming data, the evolving outlook and balance of risks. Strongly committed to supporting maximum employment and returning inflation to 2% over the long term. That's what he says. So it's quite a short statement, actually. In assessing the appropriate stance of monetary policy, the committee will continue to monitor implications. Let's repeat the previous paragraph. Prepared to adjust stance of monetary policy as appropriate. Again, as appropriate. If risks emerge, the committee's assessment will take into account a wide range of information, including readings on the labour market, inflation pressures, and inflation expectations on financial and international developments. So much more of a toned down comment on the wider political and geopolitical issues than we saw from the Bank of Canada this afternoon. We're all in vote. Those voting against were Stephen Myron and Christopher Waller, who preferred to lower the target range for the federal funds rates by 0.25% at this meeting, but it was 10 in favour of not doing anything. Michelle Bowman, Lisa Cook, Powell and his gang, Williams and Barr. So it was a no change, as very, very much expected. And so no real fireworks, certainly in the foreign exchange market. It's the yen, 53.87. So the move up for the yen, down for the dollar, took us to 152.14 this morning. Sorry, not this morning. It was late last night, wasn't it? Yeah, there we are. Last night. And then again, like the other currencies, the dollar's been improving all day. Got a little bit oversold. But again, if we go up to the daily time frame, the move for the yen is still intact to the downside. Still an engulfing candle here, potentially yesterday's inside candle. So we're at this sort of 152 area. Next level down would be through here and here and here, which takes us to like that 150 level. Again, a big round number, so another 200 points to the downside can't be ruled out before perhaps a bit of calm. But obviously, we've got just over a week now to the elections for the lower house in Japan, so that will take focus Japanese investors over the next week or so. See if Prime Minister gets her way with this big fiscal push. Today we saw Keir Starmer, Sir Keir Starmer, the UK Prime Minister in China, and he's due to go to Japan and meet Takeshi on Saturday. I think it's the 31st. He's in Japan. He's in China for a couple of days, and then a couple of days in Japan doing the Asian tour, and part of this sort of middle country realignment that Carney made very explicit at Davos last week. So everything in the mix as ever, and there's news flying all over the place. We saw today, I said, the stock markets emboldened by the good numbers from AMSL and the Korean memory chip maker Sky Hynix did really, really well, 19.71 against 6.7. One, and AMSL was just absolutely out the park. Their numbers, I think their stock was up 6% initially on open this morning. I'm not sure how it actually closed in Europe, but we'll find out. I'll find out for you if anybody's interested. So say gold wasn't particularly reacting. The forex market hasn't really moved. Let's have a look at the stock market again. Nasdaq. So down off today's highs. Is the new all-time highs here on the Nasdaq. We were bringing the hourly chart. We were long this from the other night on the 26th. That's our entry. We hadn't actually set a target. We dragged our stop loss up quite tight yesterday. I don't know. I moved it today, but that was from last night under this the start of the day. Today's low, and we were took out ahead of the Fed post Bank of Canada. So that's a gain from 25,700. We came out at 25,996. So there's 200 and nearly 300 points on there, but we're still down for the week and the month, I think. Or maybe perhaps not. At least we are. I don't know. I'd have to do the sums at the end of today. So that's banked profits. That whole trade is now closed because the stop loss was pulled up quite strongly. Same with the S&P 500. That was closed out. Looked like that was going to survive the pullback today, but again, we got in at 6,943 on the close on Monday, and we've just been taken out at 6,974, having gone through this hugely psychological 7,000 points for the very first time. I was just saying this to somebody I met in the office earlier. When I first started trading, I think the Dow and then the S&P 500 was trading at about something like 400 points, I think it was. I'm going to look it up properly, but it was a long time ago in the late 90s, but 7,000 points. Who would have thought that back then? But there you go. As they say, stock markets over time. Take out inflation, which we haven't had much of over the last 20 years, 30 years. Phenomenal returns on an annualized basis. But anyway, that trade from Monday is now closed, and we are up 30 odd points on the S&P 500. Similar move on the Nasdaq. Obviously, the numbers are bigger, so don't get too carried away with that. Earlier today, the FTSE was closed out, and the Nikkei was closed out. We talked about all that earlier, didn't we? If you weren't here. We were long Aussie, New Zealand, and short New Zealand, Swissy. They've both been closed today. The New Zealand Swissy was a 10-point loss. The Aussie Kiwi was a 20-point gain, and the FTSE was a 30-point loss. And then we got those gains on the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq to log today. As far as potential trades tonight, post obviously the press conference. I can't really expect some surprise, but it depends, how the questions go. The financial journalists in the tend to be a bit more reserved, and obviously it's a wider audience than we get in the White House cabal of yes men and yes ladies. So he's not going to get pulled by those guys. But never say never. Never front run anything particularly. What was I looking for? I was looking for my. Can I open my trading platform from here? Not my trading platform. My analysis platform. No, it's not running very quickly. It needs a bigger. Doesn't want to run. Let's have a look what we've got for tonight. There's nothing on the main system. That was just the Aussie Kiwi from last night. The more aggressive system will have something. So we've got Euro New Zealand, Pound New Zealand, DAX. Interesting. Is that today or was that yesterday? DAX looks like a short potentially today. I'll have to have a look at that later on. Is that today? It's an end of day one. Oh yeah, we've got a dip there. 28th. I can't see that. I'll have to have a look at that. Let's have a look at that on our Trade Locker platform here. I should get a C Trader one as well to show you, and very soon at MT5. But I'm not allowed to shout about it. But MT5 is coming, guys. We're very excited about that. But I'm certainly very excited. We have multiple charts all at once at MT5, and I know a lot of you are big MT5 users. So DAX, a short potentially on close tonight. I'll have to tidy all this. It was all messy, isn't it? Yeah, I don't see why. Well, yeah, okay. So I'd see what my system's looking for a short because we can't break away or above the 20-day. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Our 7th day now in the under half of the Bollinger Band. We've got a bit of a compression of the Bollinger Bands. But non-day, it's interesting. It's perhaps go along and then go. I'll have to have a look at that later on. So there's a potential trade. I'm not sure I'll be in that, to be honest, tonight. But let's see, because were we long here? Or is these from the intraday stuff? There's all these lines on here. But anyway, yeah, yen was also Nikkei. Is also a potential long today. Did we take a Nikkei and then get stopped out? I can't remember. That was today, wasn't it? I think we took that earlier this morning, didn't we? There we are. This morning we caught. No, hang on. Was it this morning? Was it 6 o'clock? Oh, that's still open, isn't it? What am I talking about? Yes, sorry, this is open from earlier today. There was another stock market one. Right, so we're long the Nikkei. This was this morning. That's right. I shared that, didn't I? So this is an end of day trigger as well, potentially on my end of day strategy. So it's interesting. So there we are, big old V shape down. We've bought it all back. So we're out the money most of the day, or more the morning, and then this afternoon, US session is bought back as the stock markets have bounced back higher. So I'm actually back in the money. So yes, I'm long the Nikkei as well. So 100 points in that already. But obviously the spread can be a bit fresh, shall we say, on the Nikkei numbers wise. But it's big numbers. We're talking about 53,000, twice the numbers on the DAX and stuff, just in numbers terms, but so percentage terms. It's obviously got to move a lot further to be a similar percentage move. But that's a really odd days hourly chart there. But anyway, it must have triggered or looked to be triggering earlier. So, that's right. I think that's that 4-hour candle took me in, didn't it? This morning earlier on. So we did get filled earlier this morning. Anyway, that's now, and that's open and still in money. So I've got the DAX. Sorry. The S&P 500 and the Nasdaq have been closed out. The Nikkei is still open, and there's a potential DAX trade, long trade also tonight. What else? Euro New Zealand, Pound New Zealand, and that's it on my scanner at the moment. I think let's have a look at the Euro New Zealand. Let's have a look at those New Zealand pairs again. There's 2 last night which haven't worked. One worked out, didn't it? The Aussie New Zealand and the New Zealand Swissy franc we closed out. So let's go back to New Zealand. It's in play on the Forex front. So what did we say it was? Euro and pound. So Euro, New Zealand. Where's it gone? Never out. Euro, New Zealand. This is quite a big move down today. So compounded there. We had tweezer top here last night. Oh no, this is on news come up now. So that's that's already moved quite significantly. Look at the daily time frame. You see there's a big dead red candle today. So look to the left, as we say, and all right, there's still some potential move in that 196.30 could be the ultimate move there, taking it back to September lows. It can move quite significantly. So I'll be looking to take that. So I might even click that in as we finish now, getting it to 197.70 or 197, 197.70. I'm gonna, so that's taken that actually. So we're short Euro, New Zealand, and probably the same pound as well. So Kiwis weakened a wee bit, obviously. So pound not as aggressive as the Euro, big tick down, but again, at least to the low here. So those two will be triggered tonight, and you can see again. Look to the left, we're below this range here, and then we take back to this September 12 low, which we turned around off quite quickly, down, and then higher. That's a nice rally up, isn't it? That 3-pin turn. It's down, and again there. So that's rallied up. So down, it hasn't up. So that trend is probably still in place if it doesn't fade out. But they're definitely worth taking. So I'll be short pound Kiwi and Euro Kiwi tonight. Bearing in mind that the Kiwi Swiss didn't work out, but the Aussie. The Kiwi Swiss didn't work out, but the Aussie Kiwi did. So half and half. There you go. So there's two forex trades that we've taken, filled probably now for the close tonight. Even though you can see the daily is actually overbought, and this one's suggesting it should be moving up, but my system has triggered to go short. So we'll take those rules. Let's have a quick look at crypto. We were eyeing 90,000 earlier on Bitcoin. Guys, I only ever talk about Bitcoin when we go into the crypto space. But if you want to look at Ethereum or some of the others we've got on here, let me know, and I'll have a look at those as well. Litecoin, of course, Ripple, very, very popular. But 89,450 at the moment. So the what looked like a spike to 90,000. Which we got through today, has been sold off significantly. So the momentum at the moment, the upward momentum from Monday was weaker yesterday, and it looks like it's going to be weaker today. It's got to 90,000 and come back down again. So we remain our upside target, 92 and 95 for taking long positions. A break below 85 will be short positions, but we still remain channel bound at the moment. So 85 breaks, we test 80, and then into 75 is there's 3 downside levels. A break of 92 and 95 takes us off and up through 100, and then potentially back to this 112 area, which is so key for a lot of last year, second half of last year, and then the all-time highs that we saw back at the beginning of October for Bitcoin. But at the moment, consolidation, sideways actions. So, guys, if there's no more questions, I'm going to wrap this up because I've actually been here 45 minutes. The reaction to the news remains somewhat muted. So inflation remains somewhat elevated. The Fed have said in their statement. The unemployment jobs remains relatively strong, but obviously cracks are seen. There was 2 members of the Fed that were looking to cut rates, potential Chair Waller and President Trump's parachuted in member of his government, Mr. Mirren. Wanted a 25 basis point cut. The rest of the 10 members of the voting 10 didn't warrant that. So dollar, having had a really weak week and a half, has had a better day today, and it continues to tick. The euro dollar continues to tick lower. Dollar continues to tick up on that announcement. So we're back into this here on the hourly chart, perhaps back into this cluster area at 118.75 that we talked about earlier. So there we go. Rate hold. So as many were expecting, nothing really going to happen now. probably until the June event. March, things might change by then, but March is the next meeting, and then Powell quits as chair in May, and the June meeting could be seen as any cut for the new guy or the new girl. It's really like could be a lady still. It's very unlikely. Leader of the Fed. But saying participants, analysts on Wall Street still talking about potentially no cuts for the rest of the year. But we'll see. The impact of the big beautiful bill will start to kick in by June as well. So let's see how it all pans out, my friends. So take care, be safe. I will see you tomorrow. Remember, 9 o'clock, just after 9 o'clock, Tesla, Microsoft, and Meta Group will all be reporting their fourth quarterly earnings, or their earnings to the end of 2025. Key impacts on the stock markets in particular, and see this AI boom, which was signaling huge growth. Particularly interested in the cloud business from Microsoft and Meta, and where we go from here, and what the signals look like for 2026. So I'll see you tomorrow. We'll be live for the weekly claims tomorrow. A bit of a quieter day, but again, tomorrow we've got some massive companies reporting. Big one after hours is Apple. So I'm off to go and listen to the chairman, and I will report back tomorrow and update you tomorrow. But stay safe. Always watch that risk, my friends. And we'll see you again, as I say, tomorrow. Be good. See you then. All the best. Bye-bye.